arrangements will be made for you. We have been promoting music, dance, and drama. And I think I should tell you that we have a dance group in Nevis called Shekinah Dance Group. It's called Glorifying God Through Dance. That's their motto. But the interesting thing they do, in line with the wraparound concept, all of the children, and I think there's some 106 children in the dance group, before you begin to make any step for dance, you must show that you have manners, respect, and discipline. Those come first before any dancing. And so we endorse that fully. And we expect to have that continued, and I hope the cultural policy doesn't find anything difficult with that. We are also having the community festivals, and just yesterday we finished WinFest, which was a huge success. And so when the policy comes into play, we in Nevis are ready. We have identified a number of people for dance, music, and drama, and we have invested large amounts of money in wind instruments, and we have a school now where we are training young people to blow the trumpet, the trombone, and the saxophone, and the flute. And I have to report that the Nevis Historical and Conservation Society, which was established some 30 years ago, is being required now to have the support of the government. And please note that we have always had to protect our local cultural industries. And so conservation, that is important to us. And so I want to end by saying that a policy is only going to be useful if it's implemented. And I want to urge those responsible to begin immediately, because there's much work to be done and there's value to be added. Thank you very much.
let me give our thanks to the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, always been in the forefront of the promotion of culture. And they've always been very generous in offering us their facilities for cultural events like these. So I want to put our hands together for the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. Second thing by way of preliminaries has to do with the Honorable Hensley Daniel, who kept saying in his presentation, or kept referring to those people who are implementing. And I sat there wondering, before he spoke, I thought he was one of them. Obviously, when he spoke, he didn't seem to think so. But I'm sorry to tell him that he's one of the implementers. So those people who are implementing include you, Minister. As we place the spotlight this evening on phase 2 of the consultations leading to the establishment of a national cultural policy, it is important to focus on our concept of culture. What do we understand by the term culture? We are gathered here this evening to bring a deeper awareness, a deeper understanding of the concept we so often casually refer to as our culture. Culture refers to the total way of life that is learned and shared by the people of a community and is a necessary component of a healthy and balanced society. It is a combination of the arts, customs, beliefs, and institutions handed down to us by our ancestors that continues to affect our patterns of behavior and the way we live. Cultural expressions, therefore, must not be limited to the performing arts and folklore traditions, but must include our language or dialect, religion, values, media and communication arts, culinary arts, fashion design, sports, stage management, including sound and lighting, and events management in general. Learning about culture, therefore, is learning about ourselves, about our history, who we are as a people, where we came from, and most certainly, where we want to go. In fact, all forms of development are determined by cultural factors, a fact borne out in the 1995 report of UNESCO World Commission on Culture. It is this pervasive nature of culture that justifies the need for a proper structure with clear guidelines outlined in a cultural policy which would serve to promote culture as part and parcel of the overall national development plan. It calls for culture mainstreaming across the various ministries, such as education, youth, tourism, gender, agriculture, trade, labor, health, legal, sports, foreign affairs, and finance, to name a few. It takes cognizance of cultural diversity and migration patterns that impact our society. We must also define a cultural policy which can effectively address the pressing need to strengthen our cultural and creative industries. We are all aware of the positive economic impact of Carnival in St. Kitts and Culturama in Nevis, from big business to street vendor, from calypsonian to masquerader, from hotel to guest house, from restaurant to sidebar. These industries have great potential for generating economic benefits, particularly geared towards our young people, which the developed countries are already tapping into. In the United Kingdom, for instance, it is estimated that the creative industries generate revenues in excess of £110 billion and employ over 1.3 million people. It is time for us in St. Kitts and Nevis to generate similar economic benefits, and the establishment of our national cultural policy is the first step in that direction. A cultural policy must therefore outline mechanisms designed to provide support from public and private sector partnership for cultural sector training in order to strengthen and build capacity to share in the benefits of this fast-growing sector. However, if we are to attain our goal, we have to get serious about this business of culture, and as stakeholders, find ways, seek and take advantage of opportunities to hone and develop our talents and skills in order to achieve high standards and excellence. In this highly competitive business, there is no room for mediocrity. I wish to thank UNESCO for funding the establishment of our national cultural policy, and to thank you, our invited guests, for responding to our call to partner with us as we continue our consultative engagement with you towards the development of a national cultural policy.
Marcus Garvey was a black man from Jamaica.
God bless and continue
He
to enjoy.
organized the United Negro Improvement Association. He led the struggle for political liberation. Walter Rodney was a black writer from Guyana. He was a leader in the Working People's Alliance. He fought for black power in East Africa and for civil rights in Guyana. Frederick Douglass was born as a black slave in America. He fought for equal rights for blacks under the Constitution. He fought hard against slavery. He later became America's ambassador to Haiti. Dame Nita Barrow was a black Barbadian woman. She was a nurse, a diplomat, head of numerous organizations, a governor general. She was a positive black woman.
How did you feel when you hear Africa, Africa is the cradle of civilization? How did you feel when they tell you Egyptians were the first to deal with medicine? How did you feel when they tell you about Bookman, Paul Bogle, Stephen Biko, Queen Nzinga, Rosa Parks, Nat Turner, Benjamin Banneker, Harriet Tubman? Nobody not tell you. Nobody not tell you. Nobody not tell you. No, nobody not tell you.
Black people invented the traffic lights, gas inhalator, the almanac, letterbox, the ironing board, lawnmowers, the clock, the pencil sharpener, the electric lamp, fountain pens, the mop, the shoe lasting machine, and so much more. Read up and feel proud. Dr. Daniel Williams was a black doctor from America. He was the first doctor to perform open heart surgery. Granville T. Woods was a black inventor with over 50 inventions. He invented a device to help communication between trains and train stations. Charles Drew was a black man who developed techniques for separating and preserving blood. Your history teacher did not tell you that black people lived in America long before Columbus went there. Monuments showed plenty carvings of black people as gods. When Columbus came to the New World, blacks had been crossing from Africa to South America. The black man was the first artist. The oldest drawings and carvings yet discovered were done by black people over 15,000 years ago in southern France, northern Spain, Palestine, South Africa, and India. The drawings were done on rocks and the carvings were on bone, basalt, and ivory. Read about how they studied at your universities and how they want to say that they gave you education. Learn about your kings from Ori of 4478 BC to Haile Selassie I, 1930 AD. Read about great men like Dr. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Nelson Mandela, Paul Coffey, Major Martin Delaney, Pop Singleton, William Ellis, Chief Sam, Dr. Thorne. Don't forget Jose Marti, Arthur Andrew Cipriani, Clement Payne, and all the other men and women who stood up for black people all over the world.
bam ba dam ba dam bam ba dam ba de bam 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 ba dam. On behalf of my ministry, let me say thanks to everybody, to the Jingle Bell String Band for rendering the national anthem. Without God, we wouldn't be here. So thanks from Miss Enville for this opening prayer. Okolo Tegram and teen dancers were supreme. 38 years now they on the scene. Ba dam ba dam ba da ba ba dam ba dam ba dam ba bam ba dam ba dam ba dam bam ba dam ba de bam bam ba dam. To Mr. Antonio Maynard, to you and UNESCO, I give regard for your outstanding contribution to the cultural policy consultation, to Janelle Mills and Kimi Knight, two of our bright, shining lights. I am sure you would agree they perform superbly. Give them a round of applause for me. Ba ba dam ba dam ba